I stumbled upon my future wife's secret text to her colleague about searching for a more successful man during our venue booking. Her raw admission exposed her hidden agenda, leading to our ceremony cancellation and her desperate pleas with 41 calls 2 weeks later. Be me, 29, average guy living an average life. Not going to sugarcoat this one. It's going to be a long story. Take you back to senior year of high school. Just your regular dude back then. Not popular. Not a loser. Just existing in that middle zone where most of us live. Wasn't planning on going to prom. Thought, what's the point? Stand around awkwardly while the cool kids have fun. Hard pass. But my friend Tommy wouldn't shut up about it. Dude, it's our last high school memory, you have to go. Finally cave in. Borrow dad's old suit. Size too big in some places, too small in others. Looking like a complete clown. Whatever. Standing against the wall at prom. Pretending to text people on the calculator app. That's when it happens. Out of literally nowhere. Elizabeth walks up to me. Not just any Elizabeth. The Elizabeth. Smart as hell. Cute as hell. Somehow both the hot girl and the smart girl. Which isn't supposed to happen outside of movies. Want to dance? She asks. Almost spit out my spiked punch. WTF. Girls like her don't talk to guys like me. That's not how high school works. Instead of saying something cool, my dumbass goes, I don't really dance. She just smiles. Good, me neither. Let's not dance together. That right there. That exact moment. Something just clicks. End up spending the entire night in this corner. Just talking about everything. Zombie movies. We both were obsessed with the old George Romero ones. How we both secretly hated school dances but came anyway. Both got into state university, but were kind of terrified to go. Around midnight, we both realize prom sucks. Decide to bail. Drive to this 24-hour diner in my crappy Honda with the dented bumper. Just talk until the sun comes up. Never clicked with anyone like that before. Or since. We dated all summer. Then both went to state together. Got an apartment junior year with a couple roommates. Watched her crush her MCAT. Get into med school. I started at this architecture firm right after graduation. Life was just happening. Just us moving forward together. Like it was always supposed to be that way. By the time we hit 28, 29, been together for nearly a decade. Wild, right? When people would ask, don't you wonder what else is out there? I'd just shrug. Why would I? I got lucky first try. At least that's what I thought. Last year I saved up for like 6 months to buy this ring she'd pointed out years ago. When we were at the mall, not even shopping for rings, she just saw it in a window and said, that one's pretty. I remembered. That's the kind of boyfriend fiance I was. The kind that remembered. When I proposed, she cried so hard. Couldn't even say yes for like 5 minutes. Just nodding and sobbing. Set the date for July 2025. Everything was perfect. Fast forward to last month. Her med school friends come over for their monthly hangout. These girls are all kind of bougie. They're all dating these tall finance guys and lawyers. Never really liked them. But they're her friends, so whatever. I was in the backyard setting up this surprise. Had fairy lights everywhere. Yeah, I know. Super cheesy. Her favorite wine ready. Music playlist ready to go? The whole works. Because I'm just such a thoughtful fiancé. Romantic French dude over here. With my stupid fairy lights and wine. Come in through the side door. Need to grab more extension cords. When I hear them all laughing super loud in the living room. Wasn't trying to listen in. But then I hear Elizabeth's voice clear as day. I just want to know what it's like to sleep with someone taller, you know, just once. Felt like someone just punched me in the stomach. My Elizabeth. Talking about sleeping with another guy. After 10 years together. Over some height stuff. Going to be honest for a second. Actually felt insecure about my height. Something I'd literally never worried about before. But then I thought, wait, isn't this the same girl? Who told me 100 times she loved me exactly as I am? The same girl who used to say she fit perfectly against me when we hugged. I thought she loved me. Not some arbitrary physical measurement. Then one of her friends, probably Nicole, always hated her fake ass. Girl, you've only had one guy, he's kind of average. You got to test drive a tall dude before locking it down. The positions alone. For context, I'm 5 feet 8 inches. And Elizabeth's 5 feet 4 inches. They all start cackling. Like they're at a witch convention or something. Then Elizabeth goes, right? I'm just curious. But I don't like to point out the height thing in front of Peter. Peter? That's me. The guy who spent a decade loving her. And emptied his savings for her dream ring. The guy who never once in 10 years made a comment about wanting to try someone hotter. Or someone with bigger boobs. Or someone who weighed less. Not even as a joke with my buddies. Not even when I was drunk. Because I actually respected her and our relationship. I just stood there frozen. Didn't know what to do. My first instinct was to walk in there and confront her. But something stopped me. Maybe I was in shock. Maybe some part of me wanted to see how deep this rabbit hole went. So I silently backed away, went to the garage, just sat in my car staring at nothing. Everything I thought I knew about us suddenly felt like a lie. Instead of confronting her right away, something in me decided to wait, watch, see what she was really up to. That's when the real shit show began. Next 2 weeks I turned into this person I didn't even recognize. Never been the jealous type before. Never checked a girl's phone. None of that toxic stuff. But suddenly I'm checking her texts when she's in the shower, looking at her location on our shared app, noticing how she's suddenly working late at the hospital, when she never did before. I know. I'm literally describing psycho boyfriend behavior. Trust me, I felt like garbage doing it. But guess what? I was fucking right. Her texts with Nicole, her bestie, the one who suggested test driving a tall dude, were full of screenshots of some local basketball player's Instagram. This guy coaches youth leagues, does charity stuff at the hospital where Elizabeth works. Seems like a decent dude, actually. Which somehow made it worse. Elizabeth's texts were all, "He's so hot." And I messaged him about volunteering at the hospital's charity game next week. Oh, volunteering. That's what we're calling it. How noble of you, babe. The worst part was watching her delete texts before putting her phone down, changing her passwords, taking extra time getting ready for work events that weren't on her calendar before, because nothing says legitimate work event like a new push-up bra. And those heels I got her for her birthday. Classy. I know what you're thinking. Why not just end it right there? Evidence is pretty clear, right? But some stupid part of me still wanted to believe there was some explanation. That maybe I was overreacting. That my high school sweetheart, the girl I've loved for a decade, wouldn't actually try to cheat on me. Then came the night that changed everything. She tells me she's got an overnight shift at the hospital. Kisses me goodbye like normal. Says love you and everything. I'm sitting there on the couch dying inside, wondering if I'm just being paranoid. But 20 minutes after she leaves, our doorbell camera, which sends alerts to both our phones, shows her getting into Nicole's car, wearing a dress I've never seen before. Not scrubs, a fucking dress. At 8 p.m. for a supposed overnight shift. That's when I snapped, got in my car and followed them. Yeah, I actually followed them. Like I'm in some shitty detective movie. Judge all you want. I judge myself plenty. They drive to this upscale bar downtown that, according to his Instagram, yeah, I looked him up, is where basketball coach guy hangs out on Thursdays. What a coincidence. I sat in my car across the street for almost an hour, watching the bar entrance like some stalker. Saw Nicole leave with some guy. Not the basketball coach. Elizabeth stayed inside. Part of me wanted to go in there, confront her, make a scene. But what would that accomplish? So I just drove home, grabbed some clothes, went to my brother's place. Told him I needed to crash for a night, but didn't explain why. Couldn't even say the words out loud yet. That night was probably the worst of my life. Kept checking her location, which showed her at the bar until 1 a.m., then moving to what I assume was basketball coach's place. Then finally to the hospital around 6 a.m. She texted me around 7 a.m. Rough night shift. Can't wait to come home and cuddle. I just stared at that text for like 20 minutes. The audacity. The absolute fucking audacity. I went back to our place before she got home. Needed to see her face when she walked in. Needed to know if I'd wasted a decade of my life on someone who could lie to me so easily. Around 9 a.m., she comes through the door, still wearing last night's dress, with a hospital tote bag, hair messy, makeup smudged, looking exhausted. When she saw me sitting at the kitchen table, she froze for a second, then quickly recovered. "Hey babe, didn't expect you to be up," she said, all casual like nothing was wrong. "How was your shift?" I asked, keeping my voice super calm. She launched into some story about a car accident victim and how crazy the ER was all night. Detailed, too. She'd clearly rehearsed this. I let her talk for a minute, then cut her off. "That's weird because I called the hospital and they said you weren't scheduled last night." Her face did this thing where it like falls and then tries to recover, but can't quite get there. It would have been almost funny if it wasn't breaking my heart. "I can explain." "No need," I said, sliding my phone across the table. With the doorbell footage pulled up, "You went to meet that basketball coach, the one you've been texting Nicole about, the one whose Instagram you've been stalking." Her face went from guilty to completely shocked in like half a second. Eyes wide, mouth hanging open. You could literally see her brain short-circuiting, trying to figure out how I knew all this. "How did you— wait, what? How could you possibly—" She grabbed my phone, staring at the doorbell footage, like she couldn't believe what she was seeing. Then her head snapped up, looking around the apartment, like she was searching for hidden cameras. "Have you been spying on me?" she whispered, voice shaking. You mean like checking your phone while you shower? Going through your texts? Following you to bars? Yeah, I have. Not proud of it. But looks like my gut was right. The color drained from her face completely. That's when the waterworks started. Like someone just flipped a switch and turned on a fire hose. Nothing happened, I swear to God. I just wanted to see what it would be like, she sobbed, mascara already running down her cheeks. To be with someone taller, I asked, because I can stand on a box if that's all it takes to save our relationship. I wasn't even trying to be funny. I was just so hurt and angry that it came out as this bitter sarcasm. Her eyes went wide. You heard that night with my friends? It wasn't serious. We were just talking. Serious enough to make fake plans, lie to my face, and go meet him while wearing our engagement ring. But sure, just casual girl talk. That's when the excuses started coming. Faster than I could process them. It's human nature to be curious. Everyone wonders about other people. It doesn't mean I don't love you. We've only been with each other. Don't you ever wonder? I wasn't gonna do anything. I just wanted to talk to him. You're making this into something it's not. Each excuse felt like another knife in my chest. Because even if she was telling the truth, even if nothing physical happened, she'd gone through so much effort to meet this guy. Multiple lies, fake plans, disrespect, new dress, all while wearing the ring I'd saved up for months to buy her. When I didn't respond to her excuses, she switched to begging, promised she'd never talk to him again, said it was a moment of weakness, swore on her life nothing physical happened. And you know what? I actually believe her on that last part. Not because I trust her, but because from what I saw, basketball coach didn't seem that into her. She was chasing him, not the other way around. But honestly, that almost made it worse. My fiancé wasn't cheating because she fell for someone else. She was actively trying to cheat because she wanted to try a taller model before settling for me. I just looked at her and said, "The wedding's off, at least until I figure out what the hell I'm doing next." Her face went white. What do you mean off? Like postponed? I mean off. I don't know if that means postponed or canceled forever. I need time to think about whether I even want to marry someone who'd do this. She collapsed on the floor, sobbing, like full-on hysterics, begging me not to leave, saying she'd do anything to fix it. Please don't do this. We can go to counseling. I'll cut off Nicole. I'll never talk to those friends again. It was stupid. I was stupid. I just walked past her, packed a bigger bag, and went back to my brother's place. Blocked her number, turned off my location sharing, and that's where things stand right now. 10 years together, 3 months from the wedding, and I'm sleeping on my brother's couch, trying to figure out if there's any way to save this, or if it's just done. All because my 5'4" fiancé wanted to see what it was like to fuck someone taller than 5 feet 8 inches. What a world we live in, huh? Now I'm in my brother's place, trying to wrap my mind around what I should do next. First off, thanks for all the support. Some of you are calling me a doormat for not confronting her immediately. Others are saying I'm the GOAT for how I handled it. Truth is, I don't feel like either. Just feel like a dude whose life got turned upside down. And anyway, let me pick up where I left off. So I'm staying at my brother's place now? For those asking, yeah, he knows the whole story. First person I told everything to, he was pissed. Like wanted to call Elizabeth and go off on her. Had to talk him down from that one. Drama's bad enough without adding more fuel to the fire. The first 3 days at my brother's were just a blur. Elizabeth was blowing up my phone, like 30+ calls, and probably 100 texts. I didn't read all of them, but I would check them occasionally, to make sure there wasn't anything I actually needed to know about, like apartment stuff or whatever. The messages were mix of, "Please call me, we need to talk," to "Nothing happened, I swear," to "You're overreacting," to "Fine, be that way." Classic stages of getting caught, I guess. Meanwhile, I was just trying to figure out what to do next. Cancel the venue. Tell our families, move out. It's amazing how breaking up when you're 29 is way more complicated than when you're 18. We had a whole life built together, so I didn't officially cancel anything. Just told the venue we might need to postpone. Called it a family emergency. Haven't even told my parents the full story yet. But day 5 is when shit got really weird. I'm at work. Yeah, still had to keep showing up to my job through all this. When Elizabeth calls. I've been ignoring her calls for days, but this time she calls like 12 times in a row. And I start thinking maybe something's actually wrong. So I finally answer. Big mistake. The second I say hello, she just starts screaming. Not crying this time, but full-on screaming. "You're so insecure. I'm glad I saw how pathetic you were before marrying you." My coworkers definitely heard it through the phone. Had to step outside real fast. She keeps going. "You think you caught me cheating? I didn't even do anything. You're throwing away 10 years because you're too insecure about your height. I'm standing in the parking lot, with my phone like 6 inches from my ear, because she's so loud, just completely shocked. This is not the Elizabeth I know, or thought I knew. Then comes the kicker. Fine if you need to think about it. Then I'm canceling the wedding. I'm telling everyone you're the problem. That you were controlling and eavesdropping on me like a creep. You think you can put me on hold while you decide if I'm good enough? Fuck you! When I finally get a word in, I just say, okay, done, and hang up. Then I block her number. Block her on all social media. Turn my phone off completely for the rest of the workday. When I get back to my brother's that night, and turn my phone back on, it's flooded with texts and calls from mutual friends. Apparently Elizabeth's been busy, spreading her version of events. That I was controlling, that I flipped out over nothing, that I was always jealous of her male friends. My brother takes one look at my face. She's going scorched earth, huh? That night we made a plan. I'd go to the apartment when she was at work, get my essential stuff, and find a new place as soon as possible. Brother said I could stay with him as long as needed. Called a few friends to help with the move, so it would go faster. The next day I did exactly that. Got all my important documents, clothes, electronics, some sentimental stuff. Left all the furniture. Most of it was stuff we bought together anyway. While we're loading my car, her mom calls me. I almost don't answer, but figure I owe her parents some explanation. Since they already paid for half the venue, another mistake. Her mom starts with, Elizabeth told us what happened. Uh-oh. And then goes into this whole thing about how I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, how all couples have doubts before marriage, how I'm throwing away a great relationship. Over one little comment, I just listened, thanked her for calling, and said I'd already made my decision, didn't have the energy to defend myself, or explain everything. After hanging up, I sat in my car for a bit, just staring at our apartment building. 10 years of my life in that place, memories in every corner, and now I can't even look at it. Without feeling sick, the next few days were a blur of apartment hunting, canceling wedding stuff, and dodging calls from mutual friends. Some friends took her side immediately, believing whatever story she told them. Others reached out to get my version. A few just stayed out of it completely. Then one random day, I remember because it was a Saturday, and I was helping my brother clean his gutters. Thrilling weekend activities when your life falls apart. I got a text from Nicole's boyfriend, Dave. Now Dave and I were never close. He's one of those finance bros who talks about crypto way too much, but his text was simple. Hey man, there's something you should know about that night at the bar. He suggested meeting for coffee. Met him at this cafe near my brother's place. When I get there, sat down and he just jumps right in. Look, I'm only telling you this because if I was in your shoes, I'd want to know. And because honestly what Elizabeth and Nicole did was fucked up. Turns out Dave is actually friends with basketball coach guy. His real name is Marcus. And apparently he coaches Dave's little brother's team. Small world, right? Dave starts telling me about the night. Elizabeth and Nicole went to the bar. Says he only found out because Marcus mentioned it to him later. All casual like, hey, your girlfriend brought her friend to meet me the other night. What was that about? According to Dave, the whole thing was planned. Not just Elizabeth going to meet him, but this whole operation, where Nicole would introduce Elizabeth to Marcus, talk her up as this hot doctor, make it seem like Elizabeth was single and interested. This wasn't some random, oh, I'll see if he's at the bar situation. This was premeditated. Nicole had texted Marcus earlier that week, saying she had a cute friend she wanted him to meet. But here's the thing. Marcus barely gave Elizabeth the time of day. Dave is laughing as he tells me this part. Dude was surrounded by these tall model-type girls, who were all over him. He talked to Elizabeth for maybe 2 minutes, before some cheerleader showed up, and he completely forgot about her. Not going to lie, I felt a weird mix of emotions hearing this. Like I'm still hurt and angry, but there's also this tiny bit of satisfaction, knowing her plan failed spectacularly. Dave keeps going, telling me Marcus didn't even remember Elizabeth. Until Dave mentioned the short doctor girl later. Then Marcus was like, oh yeah, her, seemed nice but not my type. I asked Dave why he's telling me all this. He shrugs. I don't like cheaters. And look, I know Nicole can be a bitch sometimes, but she crossed a line helping Elizabeth do this. I'm rethinking my relationship too. We ended up having dinner, talking about random stuff, and I realized Dave's actually not as bad as I thought. Still a crypto bro, but at least he has some kind of moral code. That night I went back to my brother's, feeling weirdly better. Like at least now I know the full story. My fiancée didn't just make a mistake, or have a moment of weakness. She actively planned to try and hook up with this guy before our wedding, and she failed miserably. I was sitting on this information, trying to figure out what to do with it, when around 11 p.m., there's banging on my brother's door. Loud banging. like someone's trying to break it down. My brother goes to check the peephole, turns to me with wide eyes. It's Elizabeth. Now my brother lives like 30 minutes from our old place. She had to deliberately track down where I was staying. That's some stalker-level determination. The banging continues, and now she's yelling my name through the door. My brother's like, want me to tell her to fuck off? But I decided I should handle this myself. One final confrontation. I open the door, and holy shit, she's a mess. Her face is all puffy from crying, hair looking like she just got out of bed. She pushes past me into the apartment. Before I can stop her, please just listen, she starts, voice all shaky. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I never even talked to him for more than 2 minutes. He didn't even care about me. I realized how stupid I was being. You're the only one I want. Please, please give me another chance. My brother takes one look at this shit show and quietly goes to his room. Smart man. Elizabeth's literally on her knees now, grabbing at my arms, full on sobbing. I'll do anything. Therapy, cut off all my friends, move cities, whatever you want. I love you. I've always loved you. I was stupid to cancel the wedding. I was just angry and hurt that you didn't believe me. Please, we can still fix this. We can call the venue, tell them it was a mistake. I looked down at her, this pathetic puddle of tears on my brother's floor, and felt absolutely nothing. Like Nada, the Elizabeth I loved. Turns out she was just a character I made up in my head. This sobbing mess in front of me, just some random side character, who somehow convinced herself she was the protagonist in our story. Here's the deal, Elizabeth. You flushed 10 years down the toilet because you wanted to test drive a taller model before settling for the economy version. That's me, by the way. At a whopping 5 feet 8 inches. That's not love. That's the kind of stupidity they should study in labs. But I didn't even do anything, she wails. Like that's somehow the golden ticket back to redemption. Yeah, and only because Mr. 6 foot whatever didn't even want you. Guess your height requirements only work one way, huh? Boom. Nuclear strike. She physically recoils. Like I'd just grown 6 inches taller, and was now looking down at her with disgust. How could you possibly know? Dave told me everything, shorty. The whole pathetic plan you and Nicole cooked up. How basketball Marcus doesn't even remember talking to you. Apparently being 5 feet 4 makes you pretty forgettable. When you're trying to hook up with guys who can literally see over your head, her face transforms from desperate groveling to absolute mortification, faster than she could say height requirement. And just like that, the tears dry up, and anger takes their place. Dave's lying. Nothing happened. Oh, I believe nothing happened. But not because of your moral compass, sweetheart. Nothing happened because Marcus wasn't interested in your fun-sized package. That's so much worse. Elizabeth tries again, voice getting higher with desperation. My friends kept pushing me. I made a mistake. I actually laughed out loud. The mistake wasn't going to the bar, Elizabeth. The mistake was planning to cheat on the only guy. Whoever thought your height was perfect. The mistake was lying to my face. With the same mouth that told your friends you needed to sleep with someone taller just once. The mistake was calling me pathetic, when you're the one who got rejected by basketball boy. So congrats. You've hit the mistake jackpot. No comeback. Just more crying. At this point, even I'm getting secondhand embarrassment for her short-sighted life choices. I walked to the door and held it open. Go home, Elizabeth. It's over. Maybe try platform shoes next time. Yeah, it was savage. But after everything, I figured I deserved to stand tall. With one final shot, she stands up, still sniffling, and stops right in front of me. I'm going to regret this for the rest of my life, she whispers, having to look up at me, like she always has. I nod. Me too, but I would have regretted marrying someone who measures love in inches. A whole lot more. She leaves. My brother comes out of his room, holding soda. Dude, that was brutal. I take the soda. Not as brutal as what I almost signed up for. For the first time in weeks, I feel something other than betrayal. Peace. And to the guy who messaged me, calling me stupid for not seeing the red flags sooner. Cool story, bro. When you've been with someone since you were 17, it's kind of hard to see the forest for the clowns. Final update. Hey again, folks. Well, I thought Elizabeth showing up at my brother's place sobbing would be the end of it. 2 days after the doorstep meltdown, I'm at work trying to focus on this project. That's already behind schedule. Turns out having your entire life imploded isn't great for productivity. Who knew? When I get a text from Elizabeth's dad, asking me to come over for dinner. Just me, not Elizabeth. The text says, we need to talk about what's happening. Elizabeth won't be here. Just us adults sorting this out. 7 p.m. tonight? Now, I've always liked Elizabeth's parents. Her dad's this straight-shooting contractor type who taught me how to change my own oil and fix a leaky faucet. Her mom makes the best lasagna I've ever had in my life. They treated me like family for the past decade. So even though every instinct is screaming trap, I figure I owe them an explanation. Since they already paid for half the venue, like 10 grand is a lot of money to lose. Because their daughter wanted to bang a basketball coach. My brother thinks I'm an idiot for going. They're just going to guilt trip you into taking her back. He says while I'm getting ready. He's probably right. But I still feel like I need to do this. I get to their house and immediately know something's off. There are too many cars in the driveway. I recognize Elizabeth's Honda and her sister's SUV along with her parents' vehicles. I almost turn around right there. But Elizabeth's dad opens the front door before I can. He's got this weird forced smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Come in, he says, clapping me on the shoulder too hard. I walk into their living room and surprise, it's a fucking ambush. Elizabeth sitting on the couch, looking all sad and innocent, in this oversized sweater that I'm pretty sure is actually mine. Her mom's next to her with a tissue box. Her older sister Olivia is there too, arms crossed, giving me the death stare. Have a seat, son, her dad says, pointing to the lone chair, directly across from their family firing squad. I sat down, because what else am I going to do at this point? Run away screaming. In retrospect, maybe I should have. Her dad starts in immediately. Elizabeth told us everything. Don't you think you're being trivial? All young women get cold feet. Oh right, because lying and trying to hook up with another guy is just standard pre-wedding jitters. Totally normal. Just girl stuff. Her mom jumps in before I can even respond. She didn't even do anything. She just talked to someone, and you're throwing away 10 years over it. Elizabeth sits there with red puffy eyes, looking all innocent. I made a mistake. I was just scared about getting married so young. I look at all of them and say, she lied to my face, dressed up and went to meet another man 3 months before our wedding. If that's trivial to you, we have different values. Olivia scoffs, literally scoffs. Oh please, like you've never looked at another woman. That's when I lost it. Normally I'm pretty chill. Ask anyone. But something about that comment just snapped the last thread of my patience. Listen, looking is normal. Planning, lying, and meeting up is not. And by the way, your daughter isn't just curious about taller guys. She specifically told her friends she wants to sleep with one before the wedding. Just once. Those were her exact words. But sure, I'm the unreasonable one here. The room goes silent. Like you could hear a pin drop silent. Her dad looks at Elizabeth. Elizabeth, is that true? Elizabeth starts sobbing again. He's twisting everything. We were drunk. It was just girl talk. I stand up to leave. And her mom grabs my arm. She loves you. Everyone makes mistakes. Yeah, well, I'm not making the mistake of marrying someone who's still shopping around. But thanks for the lovely family dinner. Really made me see what I'll be missing out on. For the next 50 years, her dad follows me to the door. He looks tired suddenly. Look, I don't know exactly what happened, but I know my daughter. She's not perfect, but she loves you. With all due respect, sir, you don't know what happened. And maybe you don't know your daughter as well as you think you do. As I'm walking to my car, Elizabeth runs out after me. This is ridiculous, she yells. You're throwing away 10 years over one stupid comment and one stupid night. I didn't respond. I was done with their shit. The next day, Elizabeth's mom calls my mom, like brings our moms into this drama. Apparently, Elizabeth's mom tried to paint me as this controlling jerk who's overreacting to innocent pre-wedding anxiety. Thankfully, my mom shut that shit down fast. Told her that she raised me to know my worth and not accept disrespect from anyone, even someone we all love. And yeah, it's been 3 months since everything went down. Wedding date came and went. I moved to a new apartment in a building with actual security. Started hitting the gym regularly. Amazing how much free time you have when you're not planning a wedding to someone who's shopping for your replacement. I was grabbing coffee last week when I literally bumped into this girl, spilled her drink everywhere, insisted on buying her a new one. We got to talking. Her name's Natalie. She's 5'2", works as a kindergarten teacher, has these big green eyes that look up at me when she talks. Seeing her looking up at me with those eyes makes me feel like I'm 6 feet 5 inches tall. Got to admit, there's something about a girl who has to tilt her head back to make eye contact. That hits different. Not going to lie, boys. The shorties know how to make a man feel like a man. When I told her I'm 5 feet 8 inches, she laughed and said, that's like the perfect height. Any taller and I'd get neck strain from looking up all the time. We've gone out twice now, taking it slow. Still healing from all the Elizabeth drama. But there's something about the way Natalie looks at me. Like I'm exactly what she wants, not some compromise she's settling for. Elizabeth still tries to contact me sometimes. New numbers. Fake social accounts. Mutual friends. Last week she sent a letter to my parents' house, saying she's in therapy and working through her issues. Too bad there's no therapy for having trash character. I realize now that the problem wasn't my height or anything about me. It was that Elizabeth never really grew up, still had that high school mentality, where the basketball player is automatically better than the regular guy. Natalie doesn't care about that superficial crap. She cares that I listen when she talks, that I remember her coffee order, that I make her laugh. Sometimes I think about how close I came to marrying someone who saw me as the safe option, while she secretly wanted something else. All those wasted years, but then Natalie texts me something funny, or sends a selfie, where she's clearly standing on her tiptoes to look taller, and I think maybe everything worked out exactly the way it was supposed to. For any guys reading this, who are worried about not being tall enough, here's some sage advice from a dude who survived the height wars. The right woman won't measure your worth with a fucking tape measure. While my ex was busy fantasizing about NBA players, my new girl is too busy appreciating the fact that I actually listen when she talks, and don't treat her like a backup plan. Shocking concept, I know. Turns out having a personality and treating women with respect goes further than being able to reach the top shelf without a step stool. Who would have thought? So maybe stop obsessing over those extra inches you wish you had, and work on not being a complete dick instead. Trust me, it's a better investment strategy than elevator shoes. Plus, don't go too hard on those gym gains either, LOL. And Elizabeth? Last I heard, basketball coach Marcus is dating some 6-foot model now. Guess being 5'4" wasn't quite what he was looking for either. Karma's a bitch. For those asking for an update on Natalie, we're taking things slow, but it's going well. And no, Elizabeth still hasn't given up. Maybe I'll post an update in a few months, if anything interesting happens. And to the guy who messaged me saying, "You'll regret this when she moves on." LOL, buddy. She already tried to move on, and came crawling back. And I'm good, living my life to the fullest.